Hey everybody, it's Angela and I am back with another process video. And this one I am using the Basic Gray Herbs and Honey collection. There's a little bit of Studio Calico mixed into that as well. I had originally bought the page kit when it first came out, and then items of this collection showed up at Tuesday morning later, and so I kind of added to it with some of my Tuesday morning finds. So I've dived into this collection quite a bit and I still really love it. And most of my gardening and farming collections are very kind of summery themed, because kind of growing season themed. And this picture is taken late in the season, almost fall. And even though it was that late in the season, I did want to use this brighter collection. So I'm kind of going with a floral theme and a brighter color palette than I normally would have, but hey. So I decided to pull out also this page kit. This is a recipe page kit from Project Life, and you get all those printed pages and the tabbed pages, and it was all just $1.99 at Tuesday morning. So I thought, well, I can either bind those pages into like recipe junk journals I'm making, or like I'm doing here, I could use those pages as big mats on my layout. So I decided to just take one of the yellow gingham ones and put that in the background to kind of cover up some of that background paper I'm going to use, which is that wood grain with the printing on it, which is kind of busy for me. So I thought that this large white page would help kind of break that up a little bit. So I'm putting some double-sided tape on my photograph, and because I ran out of ATG adhesive. So I don't have any fingernails, so it's a little challenging for me to get the backing paper off of things. But I managed to get it done here. And I'm just going to put a little bit of gold around the photo because the gold kind of matches into the gold of the onions that are in the photograph. And then I'm going to also use quite a bit of red, which matches into that red mesh bags that I'm sorting the onions into. And as you can see there, I am wearing a coat with kind of a fur trimmed hat there because it was starting to get cold. And luckily, cleaning, trimming the onions, and bagging, sorting and bagging them was something I could do sitting down and near the fire pit, because that was the only source of heat we had at that time. So we now have power out there, so that's really nice. We don't have to use a generator anymore. So, we're coming up in the world. So anyhow, yeah, I'm just sitting there. I'm cleaning and trimming and sorting them. We grew like 4 different varieties. We usually grow like a red onion, a white onion, and 2 types of gold onions. And so I'm just cleaning and sorting those. And it's challenging doing the farm. I mean, I'm sitting there, I'm smiling from ear to ear, like I'm really loving it. But to be honest with you, yeah, it's challenging. And sometimes you're doing things you don't really want to do. It's the weekend, I'd rather be doing something fun, but instead, I work on the farm, and you just have to make the best of it and find the good in what you're doing. And sometimes farming can be physically demanding, and you're doing things that are almost beyond what you can do, and you're so tired already, and you just have to power through it. And so I remind myself all the time to just have fun with the little things and appreciate the little things when they come by. So that's kind of what I was doing in this. I was just enjoying the fact that I could sit down and I could be near the fire while I was still getting a task done. And so I decided to go with 2 of those recipe pages and put one on each side and leave a center gap. And so it was a little bit different design than I normally do. So I was going to, play with that and see if I could make it work. And so I just want my photograph to be over on that right-hand mat, which I made a little bit larger to anchor everything. And then that shorter or narrower mat on the left is where I'm going to eventually put my journaling. So I do have that one little card that has onion on it that I'm thinking of using. But I kind of shy away at first from the green. I thought, you know what, I'm just going to go with the kind of golden yellow and the red, but I do later wind up bringing some green in there because it just needed that extra pop of color. So I'm kind of playing around with it, seeing how I can make this divided layout work for me. And I'm also trying to go through all of my stuff and see what I can use. So I pull out some flower dies and some tab dies, and I dive into the Herbs and Honey collection and just cut out a bunch of flowers. You can see there across the top, and then some tabs, and I have a few green leaves there. So I'm going to go ahead and commit to putting my photo down. And I have two sets of thickers, and that one on the left matches because the red in the Herbs and Honey collection is kind of an orangey red. And even though I liked the other font better than this one for this purpose, I decided to go with this because it is kind of a strange color of red. And I thought, well, when else am I going to be able to get to use this? So I wanted to make sure to use it when I had the opportunity. So I'm just spelling out Farm Fresh and kind of moving it around to see where I want to position it. There's one of the tabs that I cut out. I think those are Bo Bunny tab dies. And then some of these flowers, the kind of open work flower is from Elena Craft, and some of the other closed ones are from Hot Off the Press. And I know those leaf fronds are from Hot Off the Press. So I decide to eventually go with this side title. I thought that was really different, and it was going to be easy to line it up along that white mat. So I'm just going to go ahead and position those. And after I get it down there, I really do like that kind of cursive font. At first I wasn't sure about it, but yeah, I think it looks really nice. So I keep putting that green flower, and I thought, you know what, that's a little bit too much green on there. I wanted some green, but I didn't want it to be overpowering. So I go back and forth as to which flowers to use. And I like at the top having that bigger golden flower, a smaller red flower, and the green leaf. It brings in the three colors and doesn't overpower. So I was kind of wishing I could recreate that at the bottom, but I didn't have another big golden flower. So I look in my book, and I do have another piece of that paper. So I grab out my flower dies, and I just run that through my Big Shot and cut out another one of those layered flowers. And there you can see the layered flowers. And then I just go ahead and pop them all out and use some hot glue to layer them together. So it goes pretty quick. And there I have another golden colored flower I can use down there at the bottom. And I wind up not putting a cluster kind of in the middle there. First I was going to do like a diagonal line of flowers, but I wind up just making an upper left and a bottom right cluster. And then I found this washi tape I have. It's from Bella Boulevard, and it has these little farm sayings like peas, carrots, and it does have onions on there, and it also has that touch of green. So I go ahead and put some on the top and bottom of those two mats. And then I really like this better also having a large golden colored flower down there and a small red one. So I go ahead and commit and just use a little bit of hot glue to tack those down. I put in my touches of green in there. And then I decide to go with two tabs. I haven't put anything on them yet. I was going to find the month and the year, and I need to verify that first before I can handwrite it on there. But I go ahead and stick the two tabs there for that information. And then I have this little piece that I took out of one of the cut apart cards, which says like farm fresh onions or heirloom onions or something like that. It was perfect. So I look through the chipboard pieces and my brads, but I don't really find anything that is going to work. So I add one more flower at the top, so there's 3 in each cluster. And then I get to look in, and you can't really see that bin that's right in the front of the photo is just a bin of all the stuff I was cleaning off, all the old tops and skins and things like that. The only onions you can see in the photo are the 2 bunches that I'm holding up in each hand. So I had this other picture, it was a close-up of a bin of the onions themselves. So I thought, you know what, I'm just going to trim that down and make it like a little inset in my photo so you can see what it is close up that I'm handling. So I was going to put it on a tag or something out of the sticker sheet, but then I decided to mat it on its own. So I just go ahead and put a little bit of double sticky tape on there. And I'm going to mat it on this green just so it shows out and brings a little bit of green into the middle of the photo. And I really debate, should I make it like an inset? It kind of looks funny sitting out there. I try it in a lot of other spots, but I keep coming back to that center portion right there. And I go to stick it down, and luckily I just used wet glue because I'm like, no, I don't like it there. So I just wiped up my glue, and I stick it on this other sheet to, so it's not sticky anymore. And then, so now it's double matted, and I put it up top because I'm just not sure anymore. So I go ahead to do my journaling, and I thought maybe I'll just put it right at the top of my journaling. So I go ahead and I do my journaling in pencil, and then I go back and go over it in pen and then erase the pencil. And so that's what I did here. And then I just put the onions at the top of my journaling, and so I think that fits in better, and I like it there better than I did over the top of my regular photograph. So now I'm looking for a flower center for my flowers, so I'm just going into my enamel dots, pulling out some red ones for those golden flowers and gold ones for the red flowers, and then some green ones also. And I had a few that were left on this one sheet that I finally just used up, so I added just a couple extra enamel dots in my clusters. I was able to get rid of a sheet of enamel dots. And then as I'm putting these away, I'm thinking, do I want to put ink splatters on there? And it was really so busy already, it didn't need the ink splatters. And so I decided to call this one done. It's a very clean layout, but it's still pretty busy because of that busy background. And I really love how all the die cut flowers are right out of the paper collection, so everything matches perfectly. There's that cute washi tape from Bella Boulevard, and then picture of me with the onions and the enamel dots. And so yeah, a pretty simple layout, but very clean, and it really helps me tell my story and get another layout done for the farm album. So thank you guys so much for watching. If you have any questions or anything, just leave them down below and I will make sure to get back to you. And I will see you in the next video. Bye.